A Coloured World by Mary Jane Gibson of Lismore, 2480. Narrated by Rowena Robinson. In a childhood family photo, I'm sitting on my mother's knee wearing a red corduroy dress that has a colourful braid around the bib. I'm 4 years old and frowning at the camera, cranky that I have to sit still for the duration of the photo being taken. I'm bursting to climb down and explore the scented garden and all the abundant insect and plant life therein. I want to drink nectar from the honeysuckles, play with the talking snapdragons, and search for spotted red and black ladybugs. When I tire of that, I'll dig holes in the garden bed in search for old bottles or pieces of coloured glass to look through, glass that will transform the colour of the world. Brown worlds, orange worlds, green worlds. Later, I might hide from Mum in the hole in the hedge, because the hole in the hedge is really an entrance to Middle-earth, which means I can be transported away by goblins or ghouls at any minute. As I grew older, I loved climbing trees. I'd climb to the top of the Moreton Bay fig, which meant pushing through a thick labyrinth of branches, scraping my knees, splintering my fingers, and even being bitten on the bum by green ants. Climbing down meant summoning my inner contortionist, and if I spotted a suitable branch, I would hang upside down. With legs dangling and heart thundering, and a kaleidoscopic splash of sunshine and shade strobing my eyes, I listened for the sudden crack of the branch, and then, if it came, a quick flip and I was back on my feet again. I was enthusiastic and lived in the moment. I was adventurous, a risk-taker, and I was always excited, curious, imaginative, and eager to learn. These were the qualities I had in abundance, and I didn't have to think too hard about them. Now, my enthusiasm can flag. My ability to live in the moment has to be recalled. My adventures aren't always as plentiful as I'd like. I take less risks, and not every day is exciting. I'm sometimes curious, and sometimes not. And my imagination needs a grease and oil change. As we age, the world and its problems, responsibilities, and the roles we're inculcated into seep into us like rust, and our inherent and innate childhood qualities can wither and die. Fear and the need for security creeps in, and we can overlook so much and take so much for granted. I like to think of my aging body as a withered teepee. If you peep inside, there's still that wide-eyed child with a dusting of freckles on her nose, poised and ready for an adventure. I still hate posing for photos, and love nothing more than having an adventure in nature, and at a ripe old age of 67, I climb trees if I find one that's not too hard, and instead of flipping around doing acrobatics, I practice yoga. I no longer spend hours in the garden looking for insects or imagining I'm in other worlds, but I read and I write every day, so my imagination does get a workout. And it's wonderful to recognize that the things that interested me as a kid still interest me now. I find great solace in returning to the love of those things that were born with me. I've had to strap myself in because undoubtedly the aging ride gets tougher, but I've learnt, and am learning, a hell of a lot on the way. I've learnt to look inward in times of trouble, and to remember that when I point the finger, there are 3 fingers pointing back at me. I've learnt the painful lesson of letting go, like an apple blossom blown by the wind. I'm both the apple blossom and the wind, skipping over things I used to cling to. I've learnt that as the past grows, the future shrinks, so it's important to remain very much in the present. And in that present moment, I'm the youngest and oldest that I'll ever be, and life is good. Instead of writing to-do lists, now I write I don't have to-do lists. I don't have to buy candles for my cake. I can say what I like. I don't have to play the game anymore. I can spend the day in front of the telly and not feel guilty. I can dress down or up if I feel like it, and I can grow old disgracefully or gracefully. But if I did write a to-do list, it would look exactly as what I did as a child. Be enthusiastic. Remain in the present moment. Have an adventure. Do something risky. Do something exciting. Be curious. Exercise my imagination. Never stop learning. I may or may not have decades left to do all the things on my list, but today could be my last day on Earth. So in this moment, I'm going to begin ticking at least 1 or 2 things off the list, and I'll do that every day. If I don't, I will feel disconnected, alienated, out of sorts, and frustrated because I'm denying a part of my essential nature. If you look back at your childhood interests and the qualities you needed to pursue those interests, you too might be able to find who you really are. And if you find that out, you can dig your way up through the pile of shoulds, musts, obligations, and expectations that come with aging. Because when the final curtain call comes, we should be able to answer yes to the question of whether we gave this life our all. The end.